What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today when I talk to you about Lucid, I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on what is really moving Lucid, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Lucid's down 0.71%, 210 the low, 217 the high, and then 61 million shares being traded. So rather low volume today. And I think overall today is just a very weird day because you did have a certain level of optimism in the market due to rate cuts. So even Morgan Stanley did state early this morning that they anticipate the market to continue to move higher over expected Fed cuts. And another Fed speaker mentioned over the next year, they are anticipating 4 cuts, 25 basis points each, and that would be commencing October. I don't really know why they chose October rather than September, because September 17th meeting has a 76.8% likelihood of a 25 basis point cut. But in theory, the whole EV sector, which is very sensitive to interest rates, should be moving higher because of that. So you have that, and also today is the last day in Q2, so a lot of fixed ETF or fixed percentage ETFs are rebalancing today. And so of course, given Lucid's rather crappy price action over the last 3 months, you would assume that they would be a certain level of buying, but you're still not really seeing that, even on the dark pool and also the secondary market. In fact, on the secondary market, you only have 3 transactions, one for 1.32, 212, and then 166,000, all of which are sells. So big money is actually selling Lucid, not buying. So you're not seeing that level of rebalancing that I would have anticipated to occur, which is again rather weird. One thing that most likely is plaguing the EV sector is this right here. So you did have Deutsche pretty much reiterating their buy on Tesla, but they do see Q2 numbers as a miss. So whatever happens to Tesla, good, bad, and the ugly, of course, trickles down to other EVs. So potentially if Tesla's numbers do miss, and of course within Q2, there was a lot of things that the market hated about Tesla, usually political and whatever else, but nonetheless, I think that there is now just a assumption that Q2 is going to be rough for other EVs. This is why Rivian is down. This is why Lucid is down. Even in China, you have a lot of EV makers kind of revisiting their guidance and lowering their guidance for 2025. So at the end of the day, I think this is one thing that is, as a combination of everything, just plaguing Lucid. At the same time, you are seeing shorts increase 5.97 million. So we are officially at, or very close to it, all-time high short interest numbers. 399.39 million shares overall are being shorted, and that is works out to be 32.39% of the free float. So absolutely insane stuff that is happening with Lucid. So I think there's just a lot of grayness, and like I've mentioned many times in the past, the ball is in Lucid's court. Now they just need to show investors, hey, we're actually executing, and this is kind of the stats to show it and justify that. So it's not necessarily the best day for Lucid, and I guess just generally over the last quarter, things haven't been really going according to plan. But aside from that, 419,000 in calls, 1.12 million in puts, 62% of all the options being done are neutral in nature, and most likely over the next couple of weeks, you're going to hear me say the exact same thing, that the majority of the options are neutral in nature, because that's what's been happening. So 1 or 2 big institutions are playing Lucid through options, and given the dollar amount that they are actually trading with, that does really skew the numbers and kind of puts it under the neutral category, because it kind of buys up all the bid or the ask depending on what is happening. So ultimately you did have 873,000 in premiums between 9:15 and 9:20, and as what I mentioned, that makes up for a good chunk of today's volume. And even aside from that though, Lucid's for the overall premiums has been diminishing. So I think just people and institutions aren't really looking at Lucid through options. They either are playing it with common stock or just not at all, which is again rather unfortunate. But From the bulls, you see still a consensus for it to be above 250. Bears anticipating for it to be sub 2, and looks as though for November it'll be sub $1.50, again based on the bears. Aside from all that fun stuff with it right now at 211, it is on this pivot point, this S1, so that's going to be a key kind of point to watch for, whether it closes above or below that. Below that, you do have 208 and then 203, so very tight support levels, so that's going to really act as a kind of the line in the sand for Lucid in the next couple of trading days. But regardless, if you're looking to average down for whatever reason, just watch for that 208 and then 203. Flip side, 216 and then 221 is going to be the next strong target / resistance points. And currently, right now, looks like it is breaking below this $2.11 pivot point. Aside from that, there hasn't been any new analyst ratings, no articles or anything along those lines. Looking on here, it is now officially kind of breaking off of that overbought status, so that's kind of a good thing. Could really benefit Lucid down the line if we have some good data, but as I mentioned in my weekend video, I think that this week you're going to see some consolidation because of either tariffs, which luckily enough we haven't had anything from Trump as far as tariffs, but you do have some level of uncertainty regarding interest rates, and Powell is speaking tomorrow, and we also do have a couple other big data points such as manufacturing and jolt numbers that could really shake the broader market, so potentially causing a market pullback, and in Lucid's case that would only escalate kind of the pullback even further. So it is already below all the key pivotal moving averages, 50, 100, and 200, so unfortunately it does look as though that it is wanting to move to the next leg lower, which would be ultimately sub $2, as I brought up based on the Elliott wave technicals. So let me know your thoughts on Lucid. Are you buying? Are you selling? Do you think that all of this kind of pullback is a dream come true, that you can buy at these prices, or do you think that we're going to be seeing lower lows in the next little bit? What is your kind of 2 cents on all that? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. So definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.